at Long Beach no matter what part of the season. I'm sure they'd be licking their chops and really wanting to redeem themselves after last week's loss at Long Beach City. But, hey, it doesn't matter how you dice it up in the playoffs after the regular season is done. If Mount SAC is in, they have a solid chance. I'm really the believer of, let's take it for instance in baseball right now. Who's the hottest team in the playoffs?
Kansas City Royals.
The Royals.
5 in a row.
The Royals.
weren't you hating on me just a couple of days ago that the Angels got swept by them?
Yeah.
They're the hottest team.
They're the wild. Yeah, but I'm saying who would have?
They might be the best team in the postseason.
This is what I'm saying. Who would have thought? They would have went on the run that they're on right now.
You're absolutely right.
And I don't know if they won already today, but it was tied.
They did win. They won.
Another win, so they're up 2-0 on the Orioles.
I believe they won in extra innings again.
Anyways, I don't feel like no matter an easier game, so to speak.
No.
It'll be playoffs, JUCO football, and whatever matchup the Mounties have, they will absolutely have a chance, no matter who they play, as wild card or division winner. I'm excited to see what happens the rest of the way with Mount SAC. If you said
absolutely,
they have to go.
They have to run the table.
They have to run the table the rest of the way. So
if they don't run the table, they're going to have to rely on other teams to lose. Probably looking at Riverside, Long Beach, and Mount SAC out of the Central. 2 of those 3 teams probably. He was going for Almas Anderson, but Anderson couldn't hang on to the football, and the Mounties will be forced to punt. 13:25 left to go here in regulation. 38-7. Mount SAC, they lead over the GROSSMONT Griffins. As you take a look at the standings here, a Ventura team and a Fullerton team that Mount SAC absolutely dominated. Both those teams at the playoffs were to start today. If the season were to end today, they'd both be in the postseason. And the Mounties, Citrus is looking to move to 3-0 in conference, so that's going to be a big clash next week.
Yeah, and I'm excited to be on the call with you. That is, he's a very mobile quarterback with a wicked strong arm.
Pistone here on a 1st and 10 for GROSSMONT will throw over the middle, and the pass is batted down incomplete, but a late flag does fly in from the back judge, and this will probably be another flag on the Mounties. Make it 12 on the night?
Yeah, that's number 7 in the half.
In the second half.
So 13.
Oh gosh. That's too much. You wouldn't think that of a team up by 31 points in the 4th quarter.
No, and right now the penalties for GROSSMONT is still under 10 for them. Taking a look at Citrus's stats on the season, and so far they have their sophomore quarterback,
Larry Colbreth,
over 1,100 yards passing and 11 touchdowns to 3 INTs.
And 4 rushing touchdowns as well. 1st and 10 here. Pistone going to throw out to the far side of the field, and the pass is incomplete. Taking a big pop that time was Kevin Moore, the intended receiver, and Moore is a little bit shaken up as he retreats to the GROSSMONT sideline. So is the Mountie defender who was in to apply the big hit there. It was Nicholas Lewis, the 6'1 DB out of Pleasant Grove High School in Sacramento.
And Chris, I'm looking over there. Have 4 players with at least 185 yards and 13 receptions. Their leading receiver, Justin Martin.
Just like it was last week against Long Beach, it's going to be tested.
Yeah,
next week.
30 receptions, 291 yards, 3 touchdowns. The leading receiver in touchdowns is Errol Romney with 4 touchdowns for the Owls. So Citrus, not a slouch team. They're undefeated for a reason, and right now they are still up.
I think a lot of people heading into the season, let's not forget Citrus was the number 4 ranked team in the state, got upset week 1 against Palomar and went 3-2 in non-league play, non-conference action, but they're winning where it matters, and it looks like we're going to have a matchup of 3-0 in conference Citrus and 2-1 in Mount SAC next week.
I'm looking at the scores right now, and Bakersfield at Citrus is final 17-14 Bakersfield.
Bakersfield pulled it out. Wow. So much for that undefeated Citrus team coming in here next week.
Yeah.
It's going to be a battle of 2-1 teams in conference. Still critical.
Still very critical.
So Bakersfield with their second win of the season.
So Citrus upset at home against Bakersfield, a very big shakeup in this division.
Pistone on the second and short. Will pass to the running back. That's Paris, who gets absolutely popped for the Mounties. It was number 54, Shiloh Pritchard, to bring him down in the backfield for a loss of 5.
Made sure that he had nowhere to go. Pritchard doing a phenomenal job. Un-Kaepernick-like. Well, yeah, for the most part.
Sometimes. Very Eli Manning-like. 3rd and 14, Pistone. How dare he? He passes it to his running back out of the backfield, and once again, blown up. This time it's Thomas McDonald after a pickup of 1, and Grossmont will be forced to punt. 12 minutes left to go in regulation. 38-7. The Mounties on top of Grossmont College.
So Citrus also, I'm still looking over these stats. They were shut out in the second half.
That can't happen.
So Bakersfield taking the lead late in the fourth quarter after they were down 10-14 at halftime.
Punt away here, and the Mounties will call for a fair catch at their own 15. Making the fair catch that time for Mount SAC, it was William Little.
There's another flag on the field.
What a surprise.
We'll see if it's on Mount SAC.
Will it be the 14th of the night for the Mounties?
Let's hope not, but it's kind of looking like it is.
How about that score over at RCC? 36-6 over Fullerton. Fullerton ranked higher than RCC coming into that game.
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore. I don't know how. I don't know how you turn over a ball 8 times in a game, but how could RCC lose to Grossmont College? That just blows my mind. That's got to be one of the most odd losses I think you'll ever see at the collegiate level.
What week are we in? 6?
6.
Wacky week 6?
Well, Riverside couldn't escape wacky week 3 against Grossmont.
So that is number 14 so far in the night.
Let them pile up.
Personal foul on the Mounties after the play, so not good for Mount SAC because they're looking to try and keep the penalties to a minimum, and in the second half,
Citrus is going to be 3-3 coming into Hilmer Lodge next week.
Yeah.
We were looking at a potential 4-2 versus 5-1 matchup, an undefeated conference team, but Citrus unable to get it up. Maybe a trap game for Citrus tonight, perhaps looking ahead to Mount SAC.
Maybe. That's very possible. Bakersfield.
Now 6-0. That's why it's so
moving on.
So impressive that they're at that mark. Is Orozco's still in the game? He'll give to Hunter, who gets across the 35 to the 38. The Mounties still got 11 and a half minutes left to go before they can call this one final, but 38-7 they lead in the fourth quarter.
The SAC Dogs will be out 5-1 when this is all said and done against Grossmont. So Mount San Antonio looking good in all facets of the game.
I'm interested to know how that 10-5 halftime score has played out so far in the second. Do they have an update on that one yet?
Let me check it out and see.
Ventura and Golden West. I believe that was the matchup in that one. 2nd and 2 here for the Mounties. They have it at their own 38. Orozco, the quarterback, snap is back. He'll give to Hunter again, and Hunter picks up the first down across the 40 to the 44-yard line. A pickup of 6 on the ground. Move the chains for the Mounties.
Still 5-10 at Ventura against those Pirates out there. Beautiful stadium we got to visit.
I tell you, they ought to.
5-10.
They
field goal and a safety.
I hope so. I think that's the only way you can get to 5 points.
Right.
Unless they scored an ugly touchdown. And the referee decided that it was 5 points instead of 6. Pure sarcasm. 1st and 10 for the Mounties. His handoff to Marcellus Hunter again, and he gets across the 45 before he's popped at the 47-yard line. A pickup of 3 on the ground. Just looking down the standings here, you got the National South, and if Fullerton ends up taking that L, which it's looking like, to RCC tonight on the road, they'll move to 2-1, and Saddleback all of a sudden, who started the year 0-3, if they can find a way to win tonight, they'd move themselves to 3-0 on the season. So Saddleback College, who's often been a nemesis for Mount SAC. They weren't on the Mounties schedule this year, but they beat the Mounties last season as Hunter gets the carry again and gets down to the Grossmont 40. He'll pick up a first. So the Mounties' second string offense finding a way to move the ball here against the Grossmont defense. Mounties have only scored 7 points here in the second half, but they were up 31-0 at the half. It was over when it started, as some might say. 1st and 10 for the Mounties at the Grossmont 40. The snap is back. Orozco the give again. Over left tackle for the Mounties. This is number 26, Nishant Polk, who picks up 11 yards and another first down for SAC.
So I think we're seeing even some third string here as the Mounties, like you said, Chris, only scored 7 points in this second half, but still really getting the job done defensively as well to maintain this lead over the Griffins. Here at Hilmer Lodge tonight with just 9 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter.
These games go by so slow when they're blowouts. And then when we get a great game like we had last week.
It goes by in 2 seconds.
It goes by 2 seconds. Second and a half.
That's how it goes.
Polk is gobbled up in the backfield for a loss of 2 here. And if you're Grossmont, you look to try and take away positives from this game. I mean, you've held the Mounties to just 7 points here in the second half. I mean, if we started this game over at 0 at halftime, well, we're tied at 7 right now.
Yeah, if you look at it that way, yes. But courtesy of Omaris Tolbert and Aaron Vons, they got the scoring done early as they dominated in the run game tonight. Obviously, both players getting some well-deserved rest here before their matchup against Citrus.
Hand off to Hunter, who breaks a couple of tackles to the far side of the field, still on his feet, inside the 25-20, and there goes Marcellus Hunter. He dives for the pylon, but he stepped out of bounds at the 3. A big-time run for Marcellus Hunter, and it's a 1st and goal for the Mounties.
And you can hear the coordinators
give him the
saying,
ball.
give him the ball, because we all thought from up here that he was in the end zone for another Mountie touchdown, but he was actually all the way up by the 5. But they're saying, give him the ball, because when is there going to be another game that he can get into the end zone?
Especially with all these tough games coming up against Citrus and RCC back-to-back weeks.
Get ready for a lot of action here on Spreaker.com's National Sports. Tell you what.
You're going to want to tune in. We're going to force you to tune in. You'll be listening to the Kiss FM in your car, and all of a sudden we're going to switch on. I formation for the Mounties at the 4. Handoff. Hunter leapfrogs a man, dives for the goal line, and he did get into the end zone. Touchdown, Mounties. Hunter didn't get it on the last carry, but he gets in here and was